All right, well, hello everyone. I am super excited today. I have Amber, and she is a designer and mother of three. And we are so happy to have her here. Thank you for taking some time today to share a little bit about your story with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, tell us how you discovered design and just got into the whole process. What's your story?
Well, I think I always was really artistic. I danced growing up, so I'm super like left brained. I'm like 95% left brain. So being artistic and expressing myself has always been really important to me. My grandparents had killer style, like very mid-century modern. Growing up with that, and my mom did some design, and she always was painting walls, and my dad was a roof designer, so he designed some like really big copper roofs for he did one that was an Olympic headquarters site, and we would travel around looking at roofs when we went on family trips and stuff. And then what really did it was moving out. I moved to Los Angeles to dance 3 days after I graduated from high school by myself. And I came with a chair. I got a free mattress when I got there. And about 6 to 8 weeks in, I went to my first IKEA. And I think that was when I figured out I could have something I can afford and still make it work for me. And money is something we've never had an excess of. So finding ways to do design that I liked, that I could afford, really has been what molded me into designing and making baller on a budget spaces is what got. And then as I did it, I had people ask me for help, and then I started charging them. That's really how I got into it. I did have a blog back in 2010 to 2012, and then it grew from there, but I did take some time off and then have been doing it again for about 3 years.
That's
That was
fantastic.
maybe longer than you wanted.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect. So I was going to say, how did people start seeing your work? Because you said they were seeing what you did and they were asking for help, and then you're able to start charging. So was it through the blog that you initially kind of got yourself out there, or was it just doing some fun projects in your home and some neighbors saw and thought this is great? Like, how did you get that momentum going?
It was mostly just from people seeing my house, and then family and friends wanting help, and then word of mouth has been my main thing. I did have a lot of clients come from the blog for a while, and I actually stopped right at the height of what I was doing, but personally I needed to step back, so I did. But yeah, it's mostly, even now still, is word of mouth is my main source of business.
That's wonderful. So did you get started designing and decorating right away when you're still in the dancing scene and out of high school, or did it kind of evolve for you a little bit?
No, it definitely evolved. Let's see, I did it around when my baby was 1, and he just turned 10 on Sunday, so 9 years ago. So I was in my late 20s when I started doing it for other people.
That's so fun. So are you just self-taught then? Is there any education that's absolutely required or training required in order for you to be a designer these days? I know that with social media and YouTube and the internet, so many people are picking up these incredible skills for free, and they're able to just develop and work on their talents and just share it with the world. So I'm kind of curious from your standpoint and being in the industry for as long as you have, if what you think is really required in order to excel, if there's a teen out there that's interested in possibly doing something like this.
I definitely am self-taught, but I've done a lot of training. I've trained myself how to do some different things where I can put my room plans on paper. I've worked on floor planning. I have done some classes, but I've definitely mostly learned stuff through my eye and through Google and through trial and error. I started out really low when I was charging clients, and I was always honest with them and saying, this is my first time working with a paid client. I've learned a lot as I've gone on. I've been doing it for 9 years. So definitely have learned on the job. And I would say fake it till you make it to a point, but it's someone else's house. So you don't want to lie about how you, what your qualifications are. You always want to be upfront and honest. If I was to do it all again, I would have had my dad teach me AutoCAD because, hello, he's like a master at AutoCAD. But I would have taken an AutoCAD class. I would have learned drafting and learned some of those types of skills. Photoshop would be amazing to know, but I honestly don't know how to use Photoshop. I could gain that skill and I could use that class, but I do different software for my photo editing and different things like that. I'm able to put really cohesive plans together, but I've had to teach myself how to do that. And it wasn't super professional looking in the beginning. It is now, but those are things I would definitely recommend doing: drafting, AutoCAD, Photoshop.
So tell us what AutoCAD is. I've never heard of this, so I don't know. So I'm guessing some others won't.
It's a computer program. It can do floor plans, and it can do it's what every builder uses. It just is a very detailed floor plan with the dimensions and everything. It's basically what like a blueprint is made out of and a house plan is made out of.
Perfect.
So I would definitely recommend those things, but there's good things like SketchUp for designers that you can teach yourself. They do have classes for that at college. So I definitely went an unconventional route and going to a dance performing arts center. But definitely was able to teach myself a lot. But you could save time by taking a class in high school. They have those classes in high school.
Okay, so that's good to know. Those classes are in the high school setting. And then I know that your path was a little bit unconventional, but you've obviously flourished and you've found success, which is super exciting. And so congratulations on that. Would you recommend like maybe an associate's degree in college where you can take some of these classes, or do you have any idea what that looks like in a university setting?
Yeah, I definitely would. You're going to learn a lot more of the business side, which is important. That you're going to learn that more than the design. So, which is really, really important because you'll know more how to charge people, more how to deal with people, more how to work with the vendors and different people that you're going to work with. So I would highly recommend it. It just wasn't what I did. If I did it all over again, I definitely would do that, but I didn't.
Well, and it's even great now with social media. You're on Instagram and you can post all of your beautiful pictures. So even if you're someone that's just starting out, if people see those pictures and love those pictures,
yeah,
then they're going to be willing to give you a try. And I do agree that just being upfront and honest about being an entry level or just getting started is so wonderful. But then you can offer lower prices, and there's people out there that need the service, but they just don't have a lot of money. So I think that a lot of the moms that I have interviewed in all these different niches, that's what they've done really, is they're like, you know what? I saw there was a need for a service and people needed it at a more affordable rate. And I could offer that. And then after years, just like you have, of course, as they gain more experience and just get more professional, they can charge more, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily go crazy with charging, because it's, to a lot of people, it's just more about serving the community, obviously making some money, but it's not about just getting crazy rich or whatever.
Yeah, but it is, I think, important to not undersell yourself with that too. I don't love it when people say, "Oh, you're just a mom." I've actually started out earning my husband, so I definitely think it's important to work your prices up and then to not sell yourself short in that. But definitely not. I'm never going to overcharge someone, but to not sell yourself short in that same aspect as well.
I love that. That is perfect advice. So I think between the two of us, that'll be a really great foundation for teens out there to kind of move into this industry if that's something that they want to do. Um, so what initial steps would you recommend if someone is wanting to do this independently as their own self and maybe out of their home or virtually? Because don't you do both? You do this out
Yes,
of
I
your
do.
home and you also do virtually, which would kind of be fun to hear a little bit more about as well.
Okay.
But like, what is that initial step to kind of get going? Do you need to get um, an ID or?
I do have a business license and a tax ID. I also would say practice floor plans, do some free designs for some family and friends so you know how you want to work with a client, but also seem experienced when it's your first time. Definitely take pictures of your own spaces, take pictures of your house, move your furniture around. I have this wall behind me, actually. I have a blank white wall, and I set it up for different pictures for my feed all the time. I'm going to set up my desk and office area because I have a sponsor brand doing that sent me some stuff that I need to take pictures of. So I have this one wall that is my multi-purpose wall that I will move. It's my dining room, but I keep it white, I keep it blank, and I can add wall hangings and different art. And if I have client furniture come to my house, I can stage it here and then stage it there. So the more opportunity to have your work showcased, the better. You need pictures. You need one really amazing room can start you off to such exposure that you're just going to be ahead of the game. So take pictures, practice on people, and then start charging people from there.
Perfect advice. So, do you feel like, especially in Instagram, is that your primary platform for marketing yourself and for sharing your talent?
Yeah, definitely Instagram is my biggest one. I do have a Facebook, but it really just links my Instagram posts, and that's all I really do with that one. I've gotten a couple clients from Facebook. I've gotten many from Instagram, but more so word of mouth when a client recommends me to someone. They go to my Instagram and they see all of my pictures and all the work I've done, and that is just a walking advertisement. I have a website that I haven't done a lot with, but I haven't really needed to because I basically have a large portfolio on Instagram already.
Yeah, which is nice. It's nice to kind of be able to focus on one platform and not have to spread yourself so thin with so many different
Yeah.
platforms. How
I've
in,
almost restarted a blog, but it is so much work and I have to be ready for it. I don't know that I can commit the time to it right
yeah.
now.
So how important have hashtags been for you in the Instagram world? Are they as
Oh,
important as I hear?
hashtags, yes, they are very important. There's rules that go along with hashtags. You can never use the same hashtag 2 days in a row. There's so many rules, and Instagram is a game. I don't have a huge following. I have a really core group that has followed me and has stuck with me, and it's growing, but it's growing slowly. It can be discouraging sometimes if it doesn't grow quick. But how I try to like not get too caught up in it is I have like 3,700 followers right now. And in the Instagram world, that's not very big. But to me, if I was talking to 3,700 people in a room, like that's a lot of people. And I felt like that when I had 200, 2,000, like you want to try to speak to your people and give them your best, no matter who's watching. And they really, I think, will feel that more. So if you are going to take Instagram seriously, I would recommend taking a class on it. Cynthia Harper has a really good one that she does a couple times a year. But just treat it like you're talking to your friends, and don't get caught up in the algorithm and the numbers, because it can really weigh you down.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think just being true to yourself and being organic. I know there was another mom I was talking to, and she is a jewelry artist, and she makes and sells her own jewelry, and her main only platform really is Instagram. And I just love that she's grown very slowly, but she does have a very solid platform of fans and clients and support. So that's kind of fun. And I like that. So how many years now have you been on Instagram?
I've been on for 2.
Okay. So I would say that's great. I think you've done an amazing job in 2 years. So yeah, don't sell yourself short there. That's fantastic. So what are your favorite parts and least favorite parts of this industry and this career?
I love the styling at the end. I love putting a plan together, and then I love in the beginning putting it together and then finishing it. They're the 2 best parts. There's a lot of business in between. It's a lot of hard work. So you get to be creative about 15% of the time, and then 85% of the time you're working hard. So I don't want it to seem like it's just fun and frivolous. You are working with, I work with my contractor and my painter. I'm driving, I'm shopping, I'm putting invoices together. I wear a lot of hats, so I don't get to, it's not 100% creative. It's more work than creativity. So the beginning and the end are definitely my favorite parts. But it's more business than I thought it would be going into it.
And that's so good to know. So if you were to place like a percentage on how much time you get to spend actually being creative and designing opposed to all the other stuff, what would you do? What would you say?
I would honestly say 15 to 20% creative time, 80 to 85% business time, because it's a lot of emails, it's a lot of linking posts, it's a lot of once you finalize things, then it's all work, and then at the very end you get to put it together. So it's a lot, and then you really have to have people you trust with you. That is my number one thing I learned the hard way, and the number one recommendation I would have for anyone is to get people you trust with you. You need to have a painter that you trust 100%. You need to have a contractor that you trust 100%, and that they trust you and they feed off of your ideas and you work together in a cohesive way. Learn that the hard way for sure. So you definitely want to have your people, and you'll get them. It takes time to get them, but you don't want to have to micromanage people. You want to know that they're going to do a quality job, and not leave your homeowners in a bad way, because it's really important that you take care of their homes, because it's their home, it's their sanctuary. It's kind of a sacred space in that way, that you're taking care of someone else's life. And your home really can make a big difference in how you feel. And I think it's just important that you love your space and that you're taking care of someone else's space that they love.
So how do you help your virtual clients?
So for my virtual clients, I will come up with the whole like room plan, initial room plan, and then they'll say, I like this, I don't like that, and then I will edit it down, and we will get it to where we both love every piece of furniture, and I will floor plan it for them, pick their wall colors. I will put pillows on the couches, art up, everything, and then I give them where to buy everything and the links to everything, and then I let them do it. Sometimes it ends up being really hard for people and they can't put it together, but mostly I've had really good success with virtual designs, and a lot of the pictures on my feed are from virtual clients as well. So probably my most famous room is a virtual design. So what's fun about that one is I did get to be at her house on a layover. So I got to design for her for about 4 hours in person on a layover in the fall. And I got to do all the styling, but I'd had her buy everything beforehand, and, she had contractors do work. So I'm very involved. I will give my number to most virtual clients, and we'll text back and forth, email back and forth. So once that's done, if they want more, then I'll charge them hourly wages. But mostly I make the plan, they sign off on the plan, I give them all the stuff to buy, make sure I'm paid before I give them any links to anything, and then they do it and hopefully send me pictures back. So
that's fantastic. So do you sometimes help them find contractors, or is that just totally in their court to find someone locally that will work?
It depends. If I know someone who lives there, because normally a virtual design is not by me. If they were by me, I would 100% have people to recommend. If I know someone who lives there, I might have someone to recommend. But more often than not, I don't know someone. If I cannot vouch for someone, I'm not going to sign off on them. So that is up to the homeowner.
So is virtual decorating, the pricing, is it a different structure than having you come in locally and do it? Is it more or less, just to kind of give us an idea?
It is less. It is less. And I've just started recently doing more of a signature style design where I charge less, but they don't get to edit it. So if they want to see what I would do in a space, it's about half the price, but it's half the work for me too. So I give them 2 options. I will still get like their colors and their pictures of their house and maybe any inspiration they have for the room, and then I will do it how I would do it, and then give them 2 options for that, give them all the links, and that's it. I've just recently started doing that because I can offer that at a lower rate, and it's just a nice service to offer for people who don't want to be as involved. With the other ones, they can edit it down until they are happy with everything. So it takes more time and more edits, and then I charge more for that one.
That's great. I love that. That's really thinking things through and providing some options there. So it sounds like there is so much going on. It's a lot of work just to help one client. So yeah. I know that you're a busy mom and that takes up a ton of your time and you have a busy life. So just give us some tips on how you're able to juggle those two and really prioritize being a mom.
So not right now because of all the quarantining, but normally I'm able to get most of my work done during school hours. And sometimes I'll wake up really early and work before, but normally I'm able to get them all off. My kids I have one in elementary, one in middle, and one in high school. So they go to school 3 hours apart. So it's a lot. So once I'm able to get them all off, then I schedule all my in-home meetings and stuff during that time. I will go check on houses that are being worked on. I will try to get work done, and then usually after school, I'll take care of them, do dinner, get them to bed, and then a lot of times work on emails at night. So that's how I get it done. I do also learn the hard way that you really need to take some time to take care of yourself. I think taking time to get a workout in is mental and physically like so important. I actually was a fitness instructor too. I still am a fitness instructor. I teach a couple of fitness classes, and during that time off, I certified for a bunch of things, but I let a lot of that go in the last 2 years. And it's just been clear how important it is to me to give back to myself at the same time, or I'm going to completely deplete. So I really would recommend carving out even a half hour, but hopefully an hour of time that you can give to yourself to take care of yourself, or you're going to burn out. Definitely just having a schedule. I don't try to overschedule anymore. I was working weekends and I try not to now. I really was go, go, go for a long time, and now have been more of scheduling what I can and setting to that schedule instead of working as much as I can. Now I schedule it out, spread out more. I schedule the time for myself in. I'm not perfect at it because I am honestly the biggest people pleaser in the world, but having that balance is going to save you, because you won't be creative anymore if you're not spreading it out, so you're not spreading yourself too thin.
And I can definitely attest to that personally. Having a full-time job, but working from home and just feeling so incredibly busy and stressed and pulled. And it only took 2 years and my personal health went totally down the drain and stress was so high. So it is so important, girls, to really take care of yourself and set those boundaries, because I think a lot of women are people pleasers and we just want everyone around us to be so happy that we put ourselves on the back burner. But if we're not healthy and we're not happy, then we really can't serve and help others the way we really should. So absolutely. I was going to ask another thing, because I know for me, especially when I was working full time from home, that summers were so hard for me. I felt so torn. I wanted to be there all the time and be the hands-on mom, but I was so busy. So how are you able to make it work? It feels like summer right now, right? Because all the kids.
It feels like summer right now for sure. I would try to get things done in the morning, and then I scheduled something for the afternoon. It's not perfect. You're not going to have perfect kids doing their own thing while you work. It's just not a reality. So they can watch a movie while I'm working, and that's fine. But I do wake up earlier in the summer, and I try to get a couple hours of work in before 9 o'clock. So they can get dressed and everything on their own now, because my youngest is 10. Mm-hmm. But then I can do a little more work in the morning if I need to. Sometimes I'm answering emails and invoicing on the couch while they're watching a movie. Then I make sure we have activities. Obviously I can't do that now as much either, but now I'm going for walks and doing things like that. In the summer, I would try to go to a pool 3 or 4 times a week, take them to the Y, do stuff like that. But there's not a balance. One thing has to be at the top, and then it just rotates. So sometimes you're working, sometimes it's kids, sometimes it's cooking, sometimes hopefully it's you. Even in the summer, you got to try to get that in. And I say waking up early is the best way that you're going to be productive in the summer. And then just letting it be what it is. So I'm a special needs mom. So I've had to let a lot of things that I had planned for me being a mom, and I've just had to let it go. I don't expect perfection ever, ever. Balance, I don't think balance is a thing. Like I don't think balance is a thing. I think you can't have your kids and your work balanced. You have one that's on top and then it switches when it's time. Schedule it. But don't expect perfection. Don't expect balance because they don't happen at the same time.
I think that's great advice. Perfect. So I know there's a lot of girls out there, and girls just love decorating. They love making personal spaces beautiful. So how do you know when this is your niche? This is your thing. When designing potentially could just be your career.
I think when you're just kind of obsessed with it, if you can, oh, yes. When you just want to move furniture and you want to decorate and you draw up what you think your house could be like or what your future plans are, if you love graph paper and a pencil like me, I think don't do it unless you have to. Unless you absolutely have to, that's when you know, because you're gonna love it so much. So that's how I was anyway. I just had to do it. And that's when I took time off. I took time off after my daughter and my son were diagnosed with something. And that wasn't because I didn't love it anymore. That's because I had lost the creativity and my family needed me. And I knew that that's what I needed to do at that time. And then once my youngest was finally going to school, I'd actually kept a few clients the whole time, but just only for them. I never advertised anything. I didn't change my prices. I just worked on their house. But then when my family was stable and fine, I knew that I'd never lost love. I was always still drawing out plans. I was always doing things like that, but for me. And then I knew that I could take the time and that it was still such a passion and a love that I had to do it.
Well, and that's what I love about Mom First Careers is there's that flexibility because you're a mom and you're needed. You have such an important role in your home and you're able to cut back and to pull back when you need to, but you still know that this is your thing. And you can do that as well. So I love that. So any last words of advice for all the teens out there that are watching this video and are thinking, oh my goodness, this is my dream job. I would love to be a designer. What would you tell them?
I would have them volunteer or intern or get paid not very much to go work with someone locally. There's so much to be done, like moving furniture inside a house and shopping and errands and returns and so many things that they could help with, that they could really be an asset to a designer and learn a lot of skills at the same time, especially in the install phase. And they could be an asset, learn so much, and then potentially work to get paid. But learning that process and seeing it is really like going to set you so far ahead of the game. So I would say volunteer, intern, maybe get paid a little bit, but hustle for a little bit, learn the business and be an asset. Because if you make yourself an asset, they're gonna start to want to pay you. And then you'll know the ins and the outs more, and then you will know if you can do it for yourself and you love it enough to do all the business side of it too. So
that's perfect. So you heard it right here, girls. Amber had some great advice for you, and you can get started now. You're in high school. Definitely. You can go out there. You can find someone. You might even have a neighbor, a cute mom just like Amber who's doing this, and you can help her out. But I just wanted to thank you again, Amber. You are just an inspiration. You do beautiful work. I am just so excited that I had a moment to chat with you today. I'm following you on Instagram. So excited to see your work. but I will let you get back to your family. But thank you again. You have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day. Appreciate your
Good
time.
luck out there. All right. Bye.
Bye.